If you are a woman and you have been suffering with fibromyalgia for 10, 20, 30, or 40 years, I want to introduce you to someone that's going to remind you of yourself. But boy, does she have a story to tell. If this doesn't remind you of yourself, I will be amazed. So if you have even the slightest hope of ever recovering, you need to invest 9 minutes and listen to this woman. Then I'll wrap up when she's finished. Okay, so Georgia, I know that you have been through a lot. You have suffered for literally decades with what we term fibromyalgia. But if you don't mind, just kind of give us a Reader's Digest version of what you've been through before you and I started to work together.
Oh my goodness. Try and make it short. I'm detailed. At 12 years old, I started feeling bad, exhausted, and depressed. And before that, I was a little girl out in the neighborhood, rounding everyone up to play and raking leaves and building schoolhouses in an old barn. And then I wake up one day feeling awful. And at 12, and then it just progressively got worse and worse over the years. And by the time I got to you, I was just at my wit's end. I had I had chronic constipation, chronic fatigue. Sorry, I'm using notes. I'm nervous. Chronic anxiety, chronic brain fog, chronic depression, major concentration problems, OCD, major sleep issues, chronic sinusitis problems, bipolar disorder. I felt like I was carrying 800 pounds around because I was so exhausted, even though I was thin. This had been going on for 45 years. It just progressively got worse until I couldn't take it anymore because the last straw was I had back problems. And that just sent me over the edge. And my mom died in February 22. My son and my granddaughter were living with me. My mom was living with me. And it was just too much. And then I got back problems on top of all those issues. So I found,
Were you caring for your mom when she was sick?
yes, I was the only caregiver for her. She was living with me. My son, that's a disabled veteran, was living with me. My granddaughter. I was trying to take care of everybody, and I was sick.
Yeah.
And I ended up in the ER, and they said I had rhabdomyolysis. It's a muscle breakdown because I was doing too much. And a few, it went away in a few months, mostly, but then my back pain came a few months. It's just been crazy. Came back on top of all those issues. I was at my wit's end.
Okay. And then how did you find me?
Well, I prayed because I said, God, I can take exhaustion, I can take depression, I can take all those other issues, but this back pain on top of it, I can't take it. I prayed, I said, please, Lord, show me what I should do. I've been trying everything, or show me someone that you can work through. Well, lo and behold, the very next day, I saw you on my feed on YouTube, and I thought, oh no, here we go. Another fibromyalgia doctor that's going to say that you're very sensitive to pain. And here's some pharma. See you later. So I thought, oh boy. So I thought, no, just watch it and see what he has to say. Well, you were completely opposite of what I thought. You don't have to edit this. I want to show people how much you helped me. 45 years of suffering. You were so compassionate and you explained everything. You said most people with fibromyalgia have many issues underlying, and it was so true. My fibromyalgia doctor, the traditional one, back in November 2022, just said, oh, you're sensitive to pain. Here's some pills. That's it. So I saw you, I prayed about it, talked to my family and my friends, and they said, go for it. What do you got to lose? He seems all natural. What's that gonna hurt?
Right. Okay. So then you reached out to me, you filled out a metabolic assessment form, then
That's
you and I had a telephone call together. where we talked about your history. You explained in detail where you've been and what you'd been through. Then we reviewed your metabolic assessment form, and we used that information to determine what advanced testing might be the most beneficial for you. We did the testing, and that showed us a number of underlying issues
Eight,
that we could finally address, right?
yes,
Things like food sensitivities, yeast overgrowth,
a whole,
um,
a whole
bad
list.
bacteria. Yeah, I mean,
From mitochondrial dysfunction, chemical toxicity, low serotonin and dopamine, low vitamin B and C. I think you said yeast overgrowth, milk allergies, adrenal fatigue, mitochondrial dysfunction. It was 8 things that you found because it
yeah,
was an extensive test.
right. So the great thing was that now, once we got the testing back, we had a real good idea what the enemy was. And so we put together a game plan that consisted of a specific diet and specific supplements for a given period of time. And we have been walking through that process.
Well, you got to the root of the problem. That's a big issue with most doctors. They just cover symptoms. Only after 2 months, 95% of all the things I said cleared up. Amazing. Chronic constipation, on and on, like I listed. Because
Yeah.
I followed your plan 99.9%. And I'm telling you, you have to follow it or it won't work. So
Yeah.
this is not for the faint-hearted to do this. And anyone can get help. And it's not too late. I'm almost 60 years old and I
Well,
got help.
yeah, now that's a great point because you suffered for many years and you told me that you were basically constipated since you were a little girl, right?
Mostly about 30 years,
Okay.
about 30 ago, but it did slowly, yes, but it really bad 30 years ago.
And your bowel movements now are you're going several times a day, right?
Yeah, and I used to only go once a week with great complication.
Yeah. Well, God is
God,
good.
God meant for us to eat healthy and drink healthy, not all this additive crap, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. And then your sleep got a lot better too, didn't it? Yeah.
And I sleep 7 hours, and that's a lot for me. I would only sleep like 2 before.
And then you said your anxiety was almost gone.
Yeah, it's almost gone. Everything's almost gone. And you saw how anxious I was when you first met me. I couldn't even concentrate and I was so upset.
Right. So your brain fog is much better, your clarity of thought.
Almost everything. I'm telling you, it works if you follow it. And you even helped my son lose 75 pounds. You got on FaceTime and said, "Hey, why don't you help your mom with the diet?" And that clicked with him, a man and caring about him. And he got right on the bandwagon. Mind you, he is a disabled veteran that had been doing hardly anything at all, sleeping, sitting there. Now he's up here, Mom, what can I do for you? And I'm like, are you my son? No kidding. It's a miracle. Praise Jesus. You've got to do it though. God will help you if you help yourself.
Yeah. So then, for some other woman that's struggling with a chronic condition, whether it's fibromyalgia or chronic fatigue or irritable bowel syndrome, would you recommend that she work with me
Oh my
and try
gosh.
to
Yeah.
get her life back?
Yes, if she wants to get better, and you help her every week. You help and talk to us and ask how we're doing, and if you have family members or anybody to support you, it helps too.
So if there is a woman that's on the fence, not sure whether it's legitimate or whether it'll work for her, what would you tell her?
Look at me. I was 45 years suffering, 45 years. 2 months I was almost better. Now everyone's different, but 2 months almost everything lifted.
But I would just say that I'm super proud of you. You have done wonderful, and you're not done getting better. So
Right.
you just hang on. But I just want to thank you for your vulnerability and also just for allowing us to share your testimony with other women that are in need.
Well, thank you. And if I can help one lady, I'd be so happy. I would reach my goal, because you don't need to suffer any longer. And I'm telling you, people spend money on other things. Spend it on your health.
Is that absolutely amazing? Now, if she could recover after 40 years of being sick, diagnosed with fibromyalgia, does that spark hope that maybe you could actually recover within a relatively short period of time? My hope is that you could see how sincere and how real her pain was and how real her joy is now that she's recovered and moving on with her life. If you would like help, if you would like someone to take you by the hand and walk you through the process of recovery, I have done it again and again, and I'm offering this to you. Remember that every decision has consequences. So if you choose to move forward and we walk through the process, the consequence is that you get better. But if you ignore the evidence, you choose to stay the same. And that is the consequence. But I'm offering to walk you through the process. If I could be of any help to you, I'll leave my number here. I'll leave it in the description. Reach out to me, either by email, by telephone. Just reach out and we will walk you through the process of recovery. Thanks so much. God bless you and have a great day.
If you are struggling with a chronic condition and would like more information, feel free to visit www.birminghamfunctionalmedicine.com. You are also welcome to set up a phone or Zoom consultation with Dr. Dailey at www.talktodrd.com.